Hey everybody, welcome to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I'm Peter,
I'm Frank.
and today's featured performer is Joaquin Phoenix.
For one thing, I think it's pronounced Joaquin. Also, I have a question for you.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
How interesting!
How interesting! There's a long story behind that, and it's hilarious. So anyway, you need to be, because we both watch a lot of movies, a lot of different TV shows, but really just kind of slugs in front of televisions.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, you need to be, and you need to tell us at the end here, you are the main character.
I feel like we're in therapy here. Wow. You need to tell us.
You are the main character from the last TV show or movie that you watched.
Does it have to be the main character?
The main character.
Oh.
Okay, got it? The tag of my shirt's just really bugging me right now. All right. Main character from the...
Okay.
All right, cool.
Wow.
Great. And let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix, I guess.
Okay.
So, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, you go first. I got to think about this one. Okay.
All
Well,
right,
actually,
so,
I probably don't. But
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
First one I'm going to start with is the movie Her. I spoke about this when we did the Scarlett Johansson episode,
Yes.
and she's fantastic in it.
She sure is.
And he is really, really great in it. When I was kind of thinking about Joaquin Phoenix, and put a little ticket out of the thing,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I'm going to have to talk about Walk the Line, but I don't have to talk about Walk the Line.
You don't have to talk about anything.
I don't have to talk about it. I don't.
You can't make me.
You're not my supervisor. So,
Corky is.
Corky, wake up. Just wait. I hate when he cries and then gets in the corner. Like,
Now, how does he fall asleep with the hot dog hanging from his
I
mouth?
don't know. Oh, it's adorable. Anywho, so I want to talk about the movie Her, which is, when I first saw this movie, like a million years ago when it came out, I thought, wow,
A million years ago.
super creepy movie. And he's super creepy in it. But he is and he isn't.
He is and
what's
he isn't,
really,
right.
really interesting, and as I watched it again, oh, by the way, Chris Pratt is in this movie, which I often forget about, and I wanted to mention when we talked about it before, but Chris Pratt's in this movie. So, Chris Pratt.
Just one of many people with the first name
Chris. Lots of Chris's out there. Chris I don't know, what's the plural of Chris?
Maybe it's just Chris. Like
Chris's.
dear. You know,
Yeah.
Chris could be Chris.
Dear Chris.
You never know.
So,
Dear Chris.
Joaquin Phoenix is, he's sort of falling in love with his operating system.
Yeah.
Wonderfully played by Scarlett Johansson. And it's one of those things where you kind of remember that, yeah, she was as into this as he was, like this operating system.
Oh,
was
yeah.
so into it. It's really interesting, like, how we all, like, when that movie came out, the notion of, like, talking to your computer like that really wasn't as much a thing as it is now, because
you yell
now
out,
we're
you yell
yelling,
out Alexa, Siri, fill in the blank,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
So, and now that's more, I mean, there's certainly nowhere near the type of integration that there is in this movie. But
I mean, it is
it's not
set
too
in
far
the
away.
in the near
The near
future.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but what's really interesting about it is how kind of certain elements of his life are accepting of the fact that he has this relationship
exactly.
with this operating system,
Yeah.
and that other people are dating their operating system.
Exactly.
And
so it is acceptable to some of friends, and then
but
kind of repulsed by, other people are repulsed by it.
Yeah, he's such a sad sack, kind of, even when he's happy.
Yes, even when he's happy.
And he
does happy. Yeah.
He does a really nice job of maintaining that sort of sad sack vibe. Part of it, I think, is that creepy ass mustache they gave him. There's a lot about the character design that they did with him.
The glasses, kind of the way
he sort of seems like a guy who would have one of those, like, girlfriend pillows from Japan. So, um,
Yes.
but in this case, he's falling in love with his operating system, and then he gets super hurt and weirded out later when the relationship starts to be as weird as it really is.
Right.
But it's a really really interesting performance. He does this really well, where his emotions sort of bubble right at the surface, and you feel that there's a lot more that like one little push is going to send him over the edge. And he's a great actor to play a character like that.
Yeah.
And which is my wonderfully rehearsed segue into Joker.
Well, I was going to say, if he gets close to the line in Her, he's gone way over the edge
in Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Now, my biggest problem with the movie Joker in general is that it suffers from being a movie about such an iconic character. So it really could have been a wonderful, really, really interesting story about one person's descent into madness.
Oh, definitely.
It's about mental health issues, and it could have been a really interesting movie all on its own, but when it adds the Joker element to it,
as the
it's sort of like there's some, you just kind of like, there are parts where you just sort of roll your eyes like, did we need to have him like go and see young Bruce Wayne? Do we need to do that?
Yeah,
because
just to keep the continuity with Alfred and, young
right.
Bruce.
Why do we Why do we need that when it's on its own such a great story? So that's, that's a problem with the movie itself. But his performance,
that's got nothing to do with it.
There aren't a lot of people that I think could have played that performance as well as Joaquin Phoenix did. Because
I would even go one further and even wonder how many actors would want to take on that role.
I could see DiCaprio.
No. I can see some, but how many people would want that? A lot of people would go, that's just not for me. No, I'm not going to. But but
it is it's a fantastic performance again, where he's just bubbling on the surface and then he just snaps and
stops taking his meds and the whole
and you really don't know how much of this is in his head, and again that's just a function of the film itself. In addition to that, his performance of someone who's just slowly but surely slipping into madness. He's ignored, he's frustrated, the world sucks. It's a terrible place. And it is being terrible for him and at him and on him in every way imaginable. And it's really kind of it's too bad it's a movie about the Joker, because it really could have been an interesting movie.
It could have been about anybody with
mental illness and how, just people feel forgotten.
Also about the status quo. It's like the have and have-nots. Who's going to get the mental health care? Who's going to, who's that sort of thing.
Right, and how little it is a priority in society today. And it could have been all that, but no, instead he,
you took a character
had to
who's an iconic character.
Joker. So my third one would be The Village, which is a much hated movie. A lot of people don't like this movie.
Tell you that
I like it.
You scared me a little bit, because I've got your first two picks are my first two picks, and I almost went with The Village, but I went with something else. So I was thinking, oh my God, do we have all three the same?
I don't think that's happened.
No,
it hasn't.
That hasn't happened.
So The Village. He's so in love with Bryce Dallas Howard, and he's such a nice, noble guy.
Very.
And he's just trying to do the right thing and do right by people and be perfectly honest and all this stuff. And he literally just gets stabbed. It's just like, oh, you're good. I'm insane and I'm going to stab you.
Yeah.
And he's one of those, like, he deserves happiness and he deserves love. And the one thing that created this village is the one thing that's going to sort of rob him of that happiness. And it's this random violence because people suck. I mean, really.
Well, yeah.
I just think it's an interesting.
And it's funny, like, what is it now? 16 years ago, maybe 17 years ago. So yeah. So I mean, it's what is wonderful about the performance. He's very quiet. When he does speak, it's only because someone has asked him a direct question. And he puts down his thoughts on paper, and then he addresses, the council or whatever they called it in the movie. Like he has to like put stuff down. That's how thoughtful he is in terms of that. Yeah. But he's also thoughtful in the concerned way. And he's, so when he does get stabbed, it's by a person who's got mental developmental issues. Oh, yeah. But earlier in the movie, when he's talking to the Bryce Dallas Howard character and he point blank asks a question, it's like, wouldn't it be good if we did have medicine? Maybe we could even help. I forget what the other character's name is, but wouldn't it be nice if we could help
Adrian
Noah,
Brody?
Maybe? Yeah, the Adrian Brody character, Noah, maybe. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if we could help or find out what's wrong with Noah? Yeah. Like, like he's even, so he's concerned with him, and then, of course, Noah's...
But I also think that, like, more broadly in that movie, it's like the reason that the elders, created this situation... Is the violence. And just... Yeah. And you can't escape that, no matter how much you try to protect your people
the
and your
next
family
generation.
And the next generation, that life doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So... yeah, but you're right. His sort of just quiet, nice guyness is it's good. He's just very, very sincere.
And especially when it's kind of, and it's not like a big juxtaposition, but it still is a little bit of a thing when you see him. When you compare him to some of the other young men in that village, where they're still a little immature. They're playing games. They're kind of goofy. They're boastful. They're doing that bravery game where they're
being young bucks.
Yeah, and he's just not that way. He's just a lot more introspective. And so he comes across as being the interesting, the kind one, the thoughtful one.
So
good.
So those are my three.
Good.
Very good. Me. Little burpee there.
No
little
problem.
Burpee. That oatmeal.
Corky, you're supposed to help burp.
Corky, you're supposed to burp me.
Come on, it's his time.
Put your heels back on. Let's get over here. Folks, if you could like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. Find us on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff.
Please do.
All right, go ahead. So I've knocked out 2 of 3.
Yeah, 2 of 3. But you mentioned the third one.
Oh,
it's okay. No, he's Joaquin Phoenix is he can be that actor who you for maybe like a year at a time, and then he goes away, it seems like, and then he comes back again. But for like a year at a time, you're like, wow, saw that movie, and you know what I mean. That performance sticks in my mind. Good, bad, or whatever the movie is. But usually his characters are pretty. They're pretty, what do you want to say? Sizable. They really stick with you.
But when they're not so cookie cutter as like his character in The Gladiator, he was just, He
was still good in the movie. But
he was good.
It was definitely more
fine. But he was just like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's the one we don't like.
He's the guy we're supposed to boo and hiss.
Like. Yeah, exactly.
So if I had a tomato in my hand, I'd throw it at the screen right now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead, we'll throw it at Corky, the much-abused intern, here at Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. We are looking for a replacement.
Why is he on a ladder right We don't even need a ladder.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so so he's in some of these movies, and some performances really stick with you. And we overlapped on two. I already said that one. Her, which it's the other thing I think we need to remember about her is there are some scenes obviously where he's with other people, whether it's Rooney Mara maybe or Amy Adams.
Yeah.
There's some other scenes, but a lot of his interplay is not with an actor. So he's in a scene, and Scarlett Johansson's not in the room with him.
Right.
I'm
and
talking
actually, she
actress.
wasn't even the one who originally did
it was supposed to be like
other actress. Somebody else. I really wish I could remember her name.
Samantha Morton.
Maybe.
I think that's why they called the thing Samantha.
So,
I think because they were going to use her.
And they, she recorded all the stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
Spike
heard.
Jonze is just like, nah.
Yeah.
And then they had Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, I'm
so
sorry.
A lot of the scenes that he's in, where you get a lot of emotion from his awkward character.
Yeah.
We'll say a lot of times he's not playing off another actor there in the scene. He is
but
in
he
the
isn't.
final thing, but he's really not in scene. So that's a lot of that takes a lot of responsibility, and that's a lot of work to do to kind of get yourself up in a scene, and you're not bouncing off anybody.
There's a scene where Joaquin Phoenix, Theodore, and the Chris Pratt character, and Chris Pratt's girlfriend, and Samantha, they all go, like they go on a trip.
A double date.
They go on a double date, and they're having this picnic thing. Yeah. And it was just fascinating to me. It's just like, okay, they're totally embracing the fact that he's dating his operating system, and like she's cool and can carry on a conversation. Like at one point, Theodore and Chris Pratt are just kind of walking up to where the women are at the picnic, and it's literally just this little, like it's his phone, and this the other actor playing the girlfriend, whose name I can't remember. Well, I can't remember my own name, but that's such an interesting thing. You know what else I noticed having rewatched this? No, this is such a weird little thing to notice. No one wears a belt. And it looks so weird because I tuck in the thing, and I noticed it. And then after, when I'm looking at like the IMDb kind of trivia stuff, it's like nobody's wearing a belt. And it has this, it gives the costumes such a weird, like, futuristic movies. They're always like
there has to be something crazy.
Type of thing. But these are like everything.
Or something shiny that's got a zipper in the front like your Michael Jackson. Or, come on.
But this is, like, they've got kind of, normal clothes, like shirt and pants.
It's only like supposed to be like somewhere near like 15, in the future. 20. We don't know.
So, but it is a really, really interesting sort of costume design thing, because I'm watching just like, something's really weird here, man. And then I noticed, and I'm like, oh my God, he's not wearing a belt either. I'm like a psychopath watching the, like, Zapruder film.
You're a psychopath watching most films. Let's face it.
It's what I do.
That's right. That's why you get paid the big bucks. Oh yeah. He's not even wearing suspenders either. No cummerbund. Come on. So I think he's just so all these failed relationships. He's awkward. He just plays that so well.
But it's really interesting because he's capable of maintaining a relationship,
or at least
like,
kind of with friends too. He's got other kinds of relationships.
So it's So what was the other one?
Okay, so
Village.
The other one I agreed on is Joker.
Oh, Joker. Yeah.
Which is just, let's be honest, it's a tough film to watch.
Officially, I'm not a huge fan of that movie.
Yeah, I'm not. And it's one of those, like, we'll talk about how we've got our favorites and how you could watch your favorite movies multiple times.
Yes.
This is one of those. I don't know, how many more times do you need to see this one?
I've seen it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like way ahead of me.
I saw it the first time I saw it. I left going, didn't really work for me.
Well,
so then I went back, I saw it again, and then I was able to sort of synthesize why it didn't work for me and why I really am not a huge fan of that movie. And then just kind of preparing for this, I watched it again because there are stuff about his performance I just kind of wanted to.
Yeah, I've seen it twice, like when it came out, and then getting ready for this one. But it's not one of those. It's like I said, it's basically his descent into madness, and it's.
I think it sold itself short by being a great movie about mental illness, with the albatross. Just on his neck,
Arthur Fleck
of Arthur
Joker,
Fleck,
failed comedian.
Joker,
yeah. And so that one, I don't think we need to talk too much more, but we've already said enough about that one. And it's a little scary. It's there. It's dark, and
he does a great
job. Right. If we do have any, if we quibble a little bit about it, it could be. Anything that's not related to his acting.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So what's your...
So the third one is the one that you didn't want to do, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line. I don't know why I...
No, you know what? I like
movie.
the movie. I'm not going to say I love the movie, but I like the movie. It's a biopic. We've talked about biopics in the past.
But this is like...
I know.
There's like music or celebrity
but though he
biopics.
sings
it's just like,
too.
oh, there's the rise, and there's the fall, and there's the redemption. Boring,
yeah.
you know?
But I mean, his acting, though, is good. And he does have... I think the June Carter Cash, the Reese Witherspoon character, I think she does even a better job, but he still does a really good job in getting across Johnny Cash, and there's a great chemistry in that movie between the two of them.
I think John C. Reilly did it better, but whatever.
It's almost the same movie. Walk hard. But anyway, so yeah, you're right. It still has its formulaic stuff, but once again, that's not him. He's performing, and I think he does a more than credible job. He doesn't necessarily look, physically. His facial features don't necessarily look like Johnny Cash, but he moves and he kind of and is singing, and you get this attitude there. And there's a scene in there where he's had like an overdose and he comes out on stage and he's almost trying to will not to pass out, and it's all in his it's all in his face. Exactly. It's a slow Tuesday for Frank. But it's like all in his face, and it's like distorted, and he's just like, trying really hard, He's like, it's pain and anger, and I like him in that one too. But he does have some other ones, and one that almost made it was The Village that you mentioned. That was my number 4. And then the other ones, obviously, Gladiator, things like that. But those would be my. And then just another one. He did have a fairly early start. So he is the boy. I mentioned Parenthood a few times. I enjoy that movie, and he's the boy. Although at that point he's calling himself Leaf Phoenix instead of Joaquin. But anyway, he was dabbling with names.
See, for me, it was a lot different. I was Joaquin for a very long time, and then I decided to go with Frank.
Yeah, just go with Frank.
I just thought it worked better.
It looks better on the checks.
It really does. Yeah, it's just so much easier. People ask me how to spell it. It's obvious. It's Wakein, right?
Is it just one N?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not insane. This guy. Anyway, so let's recap. We both had.
It should be pretty easy this week because
we both had her. We both had Joker, and your other one was Walk the Line.
And yours was The Village.
The Village, yes. It takes a village.
Yes.
A village idiot.
Says,
Corky, get off the ladder. So, so I asked you a question.
Okay.
So the last thing you watched, and mine, mine's going to be kind of funny. It's, go ahead, so.
Well, I'm talking immediately.
The last thing.
20 minutes before we got together today.
Was it a documentary?
Well, I did, but then I started to see another one, which I had already seen.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And it was Mank.
All right.
So I could be.
That was the
Herman
last
Mankiewicz
thing you watched. So Mankiewicz. So that's
Herman Mankiewicz. But I was going to say, if I could be any character within the movie, as opposed to Herman Mankiewicz, which is a great wit, it would be wonderful. No, I would have been
John Houseman.
No, I would have been the William Randolph Hearst
character.
Oh, okay. If you got all that money, you could just throw it around. And I've been on a tour. You could go visit, much further up the coast. You could visit Hearst Castle, and a lot of that stuff looked like, I'm not sure if it was filmed there or if it was just in mock-ups to represent the room, but that's if you get that kind of throw around money, what the heck? I was going to say, I wouldn't mind being him, of course. I mean, that's just crazy money. But the main character, I guess, would have been Herman Mankiewicz.
All right. Mine would be, I watched a little bit before I went to sleep last night. I watched a little bit of Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
So it would be Walter White.
Very good.
Which now that's not a series that you.
Oh, speaking of Walter White, Corky, can you get that pizza off our roof?
Yeah, please.
If you're already up
you
on
know
the
what
ladder.
though? You know what though? You can't make the reference because you didn't watch the show, so you're
I know.
not qualified.
It's true. I didn't qualify.
I've seen the series maybe 3 times.
Tell them to bring the ladder out and get it up the roof.
So no, what I think is I can't stand the wife and the son in that show. And even though, oh my God.
Yeah. No,
and I've had this conversation with folks before that even though I've watched it, I know what happens. I still hope that those two get murdered. Anyway, that's just me. I can't stand it.
But it's funny because I didn't watch the series, so I know very little. I mean, I
think you would really like it.
Even though I'll be doing important things like alphabetizing my sock drawer, you'll still be telling me, God, I hate that wife. Oh, God, I hate his wife. It's like, why are we talking about this?
So, I'd have to be Walter White.
Okay.
So, I'm not that ruthless, though. He is ruthless. Anyway, let's do the thing with the bucket thing.
While we're going to be shaking up the bucket,
you're going to be liking and
subscribe. Oh, I guess I'm picking.
You're going to
All right, hey.
Thirsty.
Oh no! This popcorn's making me thirsty. What?
I really need to have some water here.
All righty.
Like that. So. All right.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, cool.
I look forward to most of all of them. What am I saying?
Kind of fun.
But this one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. So, all right, kids. Thanks for watching another episode of Ticket Stubs and Popcorn, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye. Take care.